A journey from Kabul to a classroom in Bournemouth via the murder of two people in Serbia, drug dealing in Italy, lying about being denied asylum in Norway, lying about your age when you came to the United Kingdom, claiming you were 14 and you were 18, being housed with a foster family, going to the local school, sexting, if you don't understand what that means, look it up, sexting 13-year-old girls when you were 18, and then stabbing an aspiring Marine to death with a knife to the heart. That's the life of Afghan asylum seeker Lawangan Abdul Ramhamazai, who's now 21, found guilty of murdering Thomas Roberts, the would-be Marine, by stabbing him in the chest twice, once in the heart, when he intervened to try and break up a fight over an e-scooter in Bournemouth in March of last year. The judge telling the killer, in seconds it seems you took the life of a thoroughly decent man with a bright future. Your momentary act of extreme, senseless violence has left a family with a tragic loss. As I say, life with a minimum of 29 years. That's a bill of, in today's money, around £1.3 million. I know it breaks every law and convention and everything you can think of, and the Archbishop of Canterbury will probably send me to bed early when he hears about it, but I'm suggesting we just send him to Kabul and take the opprobrium from all the charities and all the lawyers. He lied from the minute he got here. He's nothing but trouble. He's a convicted murderer. Why keep him? Right, very briefly before I come to your first call, this is how asylum would work under Nick Ferrari as Home Secretary, dear God, or as Prime Minister. Any arrival of an indeterminate age, not if obviously you're a baby or you're clearly 7, but if you arrive and you're 18, and we have people who, by the way, instead of giving everyone the benefit of the doubt, it's like, is there any reason I can't award this try, as they say in rugby? It should be the other way round. Clearly it was a forward pass. This person's not getting it. So we have the slightest doubt about you. We don't put you in a hotel where we lose track of you, or in some instances you possibly fall prey to traffickers or all sorts of other issues. No, we look after you properly, and not in a Manston-style camp, which was dangerously overcrowded. We will find these places. There will be places, don't worry. There are plenty of warehouses and goodness knows what, that will be turned into appropriate accommodation, professionally run, meals, education, whatever else it might be. And while there, you will agree to dental checks. Now, I checked this because we talked about this earlier in the week. Wisdom teeth typically erupt, to use a dental word, between 17 and 25. Now, there will be exceptions. Of course there will be. But that's typical. 70. So this man, assuming he has wisdom teeth, a dentist would have said, there's no way this guy can be 14. There's absolutely no way this guy can be 14. He's got wisdom teeth. And there are other dental records. And then there's something called bone density checks. And we do all of that until we determine that, yes, all right, you are 14. You can go into year 10 at the local school in Bournemouth and mix with other 13 and 14-year-olds instead of putting an 18-year-old former drug dealer and double murderer in with 14-year-old girls who he used to send explicit pictures to via text. That's the way it works currently. That is how it worked. I've told you the way how it should work. And by the way, this guy, put him on a plane, and I don't care, as many lawyers as you like. Would any lawyer step forward to defend this person? Just let him land at Kabul and take his chances. Dave's in Lewisham. Dave, your reaction? Good morning.
Hello, Nick. Yeah, I like your idea of Kabul, but I would go one further. I'd bring back the death penalty, but I'd bring back I'd introduce lethal injection like in the States.
No one will vote. Well, I'm so sorry. I don't think the majority of people would support it, Dave.
I don't know. I think they would. I think there's a lot of sense for bringing back a death penalty. And the lethal injection, I took my dog to the vets when he was ill. They give him an injection to send him to sleep, and then they give him an overdose to stop his heart. It's not cruel, an injection. Obviously, hanging is barbaric.
Right.
But, I mean, if they commit an offence, if they kill someone, and they're banged to rights. If there's any suggestion that they're not guilty, then give them life imprisonment. But if they're banged to rights...
Mate, we've got video of this bloke. You know, there's no...
Exactly.
Even he admitted manslaughter. He tried to get off with manslaughter. He got done for murder. So he's admitted the killing anyway.
Exactly. So lethal injection. That's what I bring. But
all right. Let's see what others make of it. For me, I would not be able to support that. But many of you will be shouting at the radio, but deporting him to Kabul is equally cruel. You don't know what happened to him. I'm terribly sorry to speak about another human being in this fashion, but I don't care. I actually don't care what happens to. I think he's now 21, he might be 22. I have not a care what happens to this young murderer in his early 20s who lied and lied and lied again and was nothing but a menace to fellow classmates. There's one boy who doesn't give his name, who tells the Sun newspaper he was regularly beaten up by this Afghan. Just put him on the plane. And by the way, his case was prolonged because of the number of human rights lawyers who fought his side. Can we all have those named, please? All the lawyers who acted for this Afghan individual, Lawangin Abdul Rahimzai. Can we have all the individual lawyers and their firms just put in a list as to how they work so hard to keep a killer on the streets of Bournemouth who took the life of a Marine? I think we should know that, shouldn't we? Those emails. Terry Burnett in Salford. At last, some common sense. Name every human rights lawyer who defended this murdering Afghan. Not everyone agrees. Lenny in Tower Hamlet says you might as well paint a target on their back, Nick. What on earth are you thinking about? Anthony says send him to Afghanistan, get him out of our jails. His is a strong argument for capital punishment. And straight after that, this comes in from Martin in Buckingham. Can you remind anybody for the string-em-up merchants how effective is the death penalty in the US? Same subject. This comes from Dave. Yes, put him on the first flight back. What is the point of keeping him in our jails? And Lulu says, let's keep all illegal arrivals offshore until they're processed. Doesn't need to be offshore. He got in at Poole. Let's just have professionally run, I keep saying that, to a good standard, centres, accommodation units, whatever you want to call them, not put them in hotels where we lose track of them. There are still 200 missing from hotels, the story we covered yesterday or the day before. Now, again, they are children. Let's say that half of them are probably about 19. There will be perhaps 50 kids with just no idea where they are. Jack's in Epsom. Jack, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Morning, Nick. Yeah, just a quick one. I think we should. I don't agree with you sending him back.
You don't?
Because I think we should spend the money and keep him here, because I think if we send him back because of the current government in Afghanistan, I think odds on he'd be radicalised and he'd be back again and we'll have him another day as another problem.
Well,
I think we should keep him here and keep an eye on him.
Don't we have to have faith and confidence in our defences that we won't let him in again, surely?
I don't know. You know, I think if we send him back, they're not going to put him in prison. I think he'll end up getting back and getting radicalised, and we'll have another problem another day with him. Okay. So this way we can keep an eye on him, and he's not going to cause any more issues in another country as well if he gets into another country.
£1.3 million to keep an eye on him. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, if he blows something up, though.
Oh, I hear what you say. That's, of course, is always assuming, Jack, that he does get back in. Thank you. Francis in Wincanton. Francis, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Nick.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, what I want to know, an earlier caller pointed out that our relationship with Europe was a problem about accessing records on criminality. But what I'd like to know, this chap boarded a ferry in France. How did he get into France when France would have access to all Europol records? How many other European countries did he cross?
I don't know where he crossed the border. He was convicted of drug dealing in Italy. So, there's your border. He crossed from Italy into France, didn't he? Probably down by the south of France, down by Monaco, I imagine. I don't know.
Okay, Nick. So he goes into Italy. Border check should have picked him up immediately if he's on Europol records.
Well, once he's in the Schengen area, of course, he's home and hosed, isn't he?
Well, yes, but he's still got to get into the Schengen area. And he still has to do, the border checks are still done.
And certainly at Cherbourg. Well, that's right, at Cherbourg, he gave a false name.
Well, I mean, this is just incredible because...
I know.
How did he get on the boat? Why was he not picked up by the French authorities?
Well, he gave a false name, and upon arrival in the United Kingdom, he claims he's 14, and the name that he gave when he was unsuccessful in getting into Norway, and he was therefore fingerprinted, that name was never disclosed. So round and round it goes, and I say another argument to these centres that we keep people in. Thank you, Francis. Sue in Barnet. Hello, Sue.
Good morning, Nick.
Hello.
Sadly, this is not an unusual problem. I'm a retired teacher. I can go back 20, 25 years, and we had the problem of young men arriving in a mixed school. They were obviously older than what they were saying they were. They were put in with our year 10 and 11 pupils, and the girls frequently asked us if they could be moved to another part of the room, because obviously there were certain harassments and comments made by these young men who were tall and facial hair, and I think I'm right in saying that at the time the dental checks, there was so much aggravation from human rights people that it was against their human rights.
But we've got to rewrite these laws, haven't we?
Yes. But it was against their human rights to have dental checks to ascertain their correct age and so on. But what about our children in the school? What about their rights? The girls that had all the harassment.
But don't you see, if you are one of the supporters of these human rights, and we shouldn't check, the rights of a 14-year-old schoolgirl, nothing like as important as the rights of an 18-year-old Afghan killer.
Yeah,
That's how they see it.
Point. Yeah, exactly my point. So, and there were always problems in the playground between the different ethnic groups. The papers they didn't have, so lots of the boys that came, the men that came, were given the 1st of January.
Oh, they're all born on the 1st of January. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and you know, I could go on and on and on, but I'm going back 20 to 25 years. Nothing has been done.
And here we are with events that we saw play out in Bournemouth, yes, of last year. Sue, thank you.